Chai with Manjula presents NRI, A Closer Look, a special series that focuses on some of the key issues that affect Indo-Americans and NRIs and takes a close look at solutions and prevention as well. Welcome to Chai with Manjula. 43 years ago, when I came to the US, people wondered how I could speak English. In fact, on the plane, a fellow passenger even wondered how a girl from India could be traveling alone halfway across the world. But that was then, 43 years ago. And I attributed the ignorance to the lack of information and exposure. But today, when the presence of India and Indians is so strong in the US, when we are being recognized as a model minority, the ignorance about India and its people still persists to a great extent. Our children are stereotyped and often face prejudice in schools, which at times leads to bullying and hate crimes. And one major area of misconceptions about Indians is religion. Today, we'll take a close look at the approach that two organizations have taken to address this issue in classrooms. NRI, A Closer Look, presented by Chai with Manjula and sponsored by the Tech Museum of Innovation, San Jose, California, a unique hands-on technology and science museum for people of all ages and backgrounds, which inspires innovations for the benefit of humanity. And Development Alternatives Group, a non-profit organization in India that brings together traditional knowledge and modern science for sustainable development at the community, national, and global level. My guests are Dr. Mihir Meghani, co-founder of the Hindu American Foundation, also known as HAF, and Jesse Kaur, a board member of the Kaur Foundation. Jesse and Mihir, it's great to have you here today.
Great to be here, Manjula. Thank you.
First of all, tell us about the organizations that you are working with, HAF and the Kaur Foundation.
Yeah, the Hindu American Foundation is an 11-year-old nonprofit that was formed to be a voice for Hindus in America. We essentially deal with the policymakers who shape public opinion and public policy in America. And the main policymakers are people in the government, academia, the academic circles, the teachers, the NGO realm with nonprofits and think tanks, and the media. These are the main areas we work to make sure that they understand Hinduism better and the issues of concern to Hindu Americans.
Okay, and Jesse, about the Kaur
Foundation?
Foundation?
Kaur Foundation was founded in 2002, soon after 9/11, and we're a national nonprofit organization, and our mission is to bridge the cultural literacy gap, and we work with educational institutions. We partner with them to bridge that cultural literacy gap, as also to raise an awareness about the Sikh identity, heritage, and the secular values of Sikhi.
So Mihir, tell us, how is Hinduism being taught in schools today?
Hinduism is taught from a very distant perspective than the way the average Hindu American in this country practices and understands Hinduism. It's taught from a very, very colonial framework or a very secular framework. And the reason for this is that when the standards for what's taught in schools were made by the California government, at that time there were very few people who were minorities in the state of California. And they didn't have many resources or people to talk to about what should be taught about many different religions and cultures, including Hinduism and Sikhism as well. So what's taught is very backward. I'm going to give a few examples. As a Hindu, the main things that come to my mind that are part of my life are things like prayer, going to the temple, ahimsa, vegetarianism, the beliefs that we have, the scriptures, the Vedas, Upanishads, the fact that Mahatma Gandhi was Hindu. None of this is taught in the textbooks. The things that are taught are very, very backward and very irrelevant to Hindus.
Give us examples.
One is, I'll give an example. Aryan invasion theory. When people think of Hinduism, they don't think that this is one of the main things that should be taught, that Hinduism was brought to India by invaders. This is a very colonial 18th and 19th century theory that for the most part in higher academic circles has been disproved, but it's still taught in textbooks. Another thing that they really stress upon is caste system. Now we have caste issues in India, but for Hindu Americans and many modern day Hindus and liberal Hindus, we don't practice discrimination on caste, and we don't even follow the caste system as it's portrayed in the textbooks. Instead, what we'd like to see are other things taught, which are much more accurate as to how we live and practice Hinduism, not just as Hindu Americans, but also as Hindus from modern-day India. Another example of the problem in textbooks is that different cultures and religions are taught with different standards. For example, all societies have had problems in the way they treat women, and India and Hinduism still have that. But every ancient society and modern society has its problems. But in some sixth grade textbooks, they don't talk about how Christianity and Judaism, for example, treat women. And one textbook in particular says that Islam raised the status of women compared to pre-Islamic Arabia. But that same textbook says that Hinduism considers women inferior. It doesn't mention that women saints are worshipped and that we have female divinities. So there's clearly inaccuracies, and there's also different standards in how they're taught.
Actually in Manusmriti it says Yatra Naryastu Pujyante Ramante Tatra Devata, which means where women are honored, divinity blossoms there, and that's one of our oldest scriptures. So yeah, so there are a lot of misrepresentations and lack of information.
Exactly.
That's what you would say.
Right, and they're using different standards for different religions.
Standards
and of course,
for different religions.
Some religions like Sikhism aren't even taught.
Right, right. So Jesse, you tell us.
That is indeed very true.
Yeah.
Sikhi is not taught. I mean, whatever there is so minimal and it's so misrepresented. For example, for starters, it is said that Sikhism or Sikhi is an offshoot of Hinduism or Islam. It's not. Sikhi is a sovereign faith, independent and autonomous with its own gurus and its own scripture. So that is, the very basic thing that is, taught incorrectly. And there's a couple of references as an example that I'll cite. In one of the 7th grade textbooks, it's written that Aurangzeb pushed back the Sikhs that fought against his tyrannical regime. But it's not mentioned that the Sikh gurus gave up their lives for the freedom of worship for Hindus who were the mainstream, population at the time, and that tens of thousands of Sikhs gave up their lives to uphold freedom of religion and freedom of speech. And the basic tenets of the faith of, equality for all, regardless of caste, creed, religion, gender, hard work, the ethos of hard work and service. I mean, none of that is mentioned. The monotheism of the faith, the oneness, none of that is taught at all.
Okay, so obviously, it has an impact on our children, on their self-worth, self-esteem. So what kind of backlash have you seen?
Well, now, Sikhs face it on two fronts. One, there is lack of information and misinformation. And second, the Sikh identity is so distinct, and Sikh kids are bullied and isolated. And at airports, you'll notice that the random check goes on with Sikh guys, who wear the turbans. So there's very intrusive, checking and so forth. And then two extreme cases come to mind that happened recently. In New Jersey, a Sikh boy's patka, the headscarf, was burnt. And in another instance, a Sikh boy's hair was cut. And hair, as you know, is sacred to Sikhi.
I remember reading about a Sikh boy who would come home crying 2 or 3 times a week with his turban in his hand. I've read that Sikh boys are bullied at twice the national average.
That is indeed true.
Yeah.
That is true. And so Kaur Foundation is making a concerted effort to raise the awareness about the Sikh heritage and the Sikh identity, so that through education, all of this is
right.
diminished.
Something has to be done. So we'll carry on our conversation after this short break.
If you are planning on retiring to a warmer location, then it's important that you visit Shanti Niketan. Shanti Niketan is the only Indian retirement resort community in the U.S., a private and gated community located in sunny and peaceful Orlando, Florida. The best place for Indians to retire. Call now for more information.
Now announcing an assisted living facility in Florida. Meetings for potential projects will be held in Los Angeles, California on Saturday, June 28th, and in Phoenix, Arizona on July 13th. For information, call 352-508-7060.
Chai with Manjula presents NRI, A Closer Look. My guests are Jesse Kaur and Dr. Meher Meghani. And the topic is education about India in classrooms. So Jesse and Meher, as we discussed earlier, the ignorance about Hinduism and Sikhism comes from the lack of education and leads to issues such as bullying, hate crimes, and it even leaves our children scarred for life.
Mistaken identity.
Yes, of course. So what are your organizations doing about it? Tell us about that.
So CAR Foundation has created this DVD. It's a 17-minute DVD, and it focuses on the cultural and celebratory themes, festivals, holidays, Sikh culture, Sikh traditions, and aims to find commonalities between.
And these are for schools?
So, yes, and it has been adopted in schools. And 1.3 million children have already viewed this. So to go along with this is this cultural safari teacher resource guide, which has more material, which aids in understanding more about Sikhi. And then we have the Sikh Studies unit, which is for the middle schoolers. And we're now making a documentary for the older students, and it's again based on bullying. And then I've written these 3 books. So this one, these are all for elementary school children. So there is Dear to Kuya, Letters of a Sikh Boy. The book is about a little boy who writes to his pen pal in Japan and shares his faith. So this is Sikhi 101. So this one is the Royal Falcon, and it's based on a true historical incidents, and teaches the values of compassion, sharing, and forgiveness. And in the 3rd book, The Enchanted Garden of Tilwandi, it's written in rhyme, and it's based on a childhood legend of Guru Nanak, and the theme is respect for diversity. Diversity is America's strength, and for us to be able to live harmoniously with each other, it's very important to understand each other and respect each other. So these are the 3 supplemental
and they cover
books.
all age groups, all
yes,
in
from
school.
elementary, middle school,
Very good.
and now the 3rd DVD is in progress. So we're partnering with the Educational Institute. Actually, we're also partnering with HAF, and it's a cultural immersion program we've developed where teachers and administrators come, and they, on different levels, they learn about Sikhi and Hinduism. So the number 1 is an overview, and then an experiential visit to the temple and the Gurdwara, where they sit and listen to the kirtan, the hymns, and partake of the langar. And then there's a seminar where, there's a robust discussion. So we've partnered with HAF and the Montgomery County. And so this is a great program we're very excited about. So one happened in the spring, another one is coming up in fall, and we want to bring this to Santa Clara now.
So Meher, you tell us about the work that HAF is doing.
Sure. Yeah, I think with the Core Foundation, they're doing great work, and it's great to partner with them. We've created a bunch of material that's online that students and parents and teachers can look at our website, hafsite.org, and under resources, they'll find a lot of information. But we focus on a few levels to address the problem of inaccuracy and misportrayal of our religion. One level is working directly with publishers to make sure that they have the resources and the connections to write more accurately. And we've served as reviewers for some of these academics and provided information to create a lot of inaccuracies in textbooks. We've worked with writers, the professors who actually write the textbooks, and said, this is what our suggestions are on how you can portray this in a much improved manner in line with other religions. We've also worked, like with the Core Foundation, with school districts around the country. So we're going to continue all of that. I think the biggest thing we've done, and in particular for residents of some of the major states that actually buy a lot of textbooks, California and Texas, is we work with the legislature to change the laws that say what should be taught. And in California, this bill, which has been supported by interfaith groups and teachers, has passed through the California Senate and is going through the California Assembly, which will force the state government and the Board of Education to redefine what's taught in social studies. So it'll be up to date, in par with the different multicultural, multi-religious landscape of the state. And we're doing similar efforts in other states such as Texas. One of our latest projects, and I'll end with this, is a project called Hinduism 101, which is a teacher training program, very similar to the kind of things that the Core Foundation does. It's to basically train teachers so they understand a better way to teach Hinduism.
That's a great idea.
And Hinduism can't be taught in the same way Christianity is taught. Well, what's the book? What's the founder? What's the one belief?
It's
it has to be taught differently.
Deep, so ancient, so vast. Yeah, that's right. But it's a very holistic approach. You are into advocacy, publishing, preparing materials, training teachers, training parents. Amazing work, very good work by both the organizations.
Thank you.
So where do you stand now? What have you accomplished so far? Have you seen any impact? Has anything been implemented?
We've seen a vast improvement since over the past 7 years that we've been monitoring textbooks in how Hinduism is portrayed. It doesn't mean it's perfect, but it's a lot better than it was. I think a lot of this has been because publishers realize that the community is active and they're aware and they're looking. And after we had sued the Board of Education in California about the portrayal of Hinduism in textbooks in 2006, publishers know that the community is not going to be just lying down and taking this for granted. And academics have also realized that they have to take Hinduism much more seriously than they did because there are people watching. So there's been a big change in the books. The fact that groups like HAF and the Core Foundation can actually go to schools and schools are receptive to learning about it shows that there's a tremendous potential. And I would say for both our groups, the potential is we need more volunteers and we need the resources and money to get the material out there, right?
And we've developed this material according to the Common Core curriculum. So it's very leading edge. It's what's being taught right now. And so we are looking for volunteers to work with school districts, to get trained by our trainers, and to download the materials from our website and donate. And donate.
Of course, that always helps. So what are your websites?
So we're corefoundation.org.
And HAF?
HAF's website is hafsite.org, HAF for Hindu American Foundation. And I think both groups are also probably on Facebook, Google+, LinkedIn, Twitter. Will be found there.
All these materials about Hinduism or Sikhism are available online?
Yes, of course. These books, my books can be bought on jessecore.com and from Core Foundation.
And the other materials?
And this material is also through Core Foundation.
Okay, and I see that you have brought some stuff.
I brought a few things besides our own material. The Himalayan Academy publishes this out of Hawaii. It's a book about the history of Hinduism in India. And there's another good book which actually covers not just Hinduism but all the religions of India. It's called India Unveiled by Robert Arnett, a book by a non-Indian, which we think is very good and actually touches the spirituality of India.
Very good. And
a lot of good resources.
While we are at it, I remember talking to you about an organization here in the Bay Area, which is interreligious, interfaith organization that you work with. It will be very nice to give information about them because we couldn't cover all religions here. We would like to give information about this organization to other faiths so that they can work with them.
There are many different interfaith groups, including there's a Tri-City interfaith group covering Milpitas, Union City, and Fremont. But one of the groups I'm serving on the board of is actually taking up this topic of education and multiculturalism in textbooks, and is the Silicon Valley Interreligious Council.
They're very active, and they hold a lot of interfaith gatherings, conferences, and they invite people from all faiths. And we have representatives from Sikhism as well that go there.
Well, Jesse and Meher, I wish we had more time, but thanks.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for doing this.
Great service to the community.
It's much needed, Manjula.
I know it is definitely much needed, and thanks to organizations like HAF and Core Foundation for doing this work. You are planting a seed, and coming generations will benefit from it tremendously.
Actually, that's the motto of Core Foundation, that each generation plants a seed so that the next generation can enjoy the shade.
This is definitely a very good example by both the organizations. I wish you all the best with your work.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Meher. It is of vital importance for us to make sure that children receive accurate and adequate information about different religions and cultures in classrooms. We owe it to our children, our future generations, and moreover to global harmony. Technology benefiting humanity. presented by Chai with Manjula and sponsored by the Tech Museum of Innovation, San Jose, California. A unique hands-on technology and science museum for people of all ages and backgrounds, which inspires innovations for the benefit of humanity. Welcome to our special segment, Technology Benefiting Humanity. We are at the Tech Museum of Innovation in San Jose, California with Joe Urbano, Membership Manager at the Tech. Okay, Joe, it's great to be here with you again. Last time you talked to us about what it means to be a member of the Tech Museum. So this time I would like you to tell us what benefits do the members enjoy at the Tech?
Yes, so that's the important question. Everybody wants to know, what do I get if I become a member?
What's in it for me?
And there's a lot, and some people kind of think of it as a season pass for the museum.
Okay.
But there's a lot more to it than just that. While you do get to come to the museum as many times you want throughout the course of your membership, which lasts for a year. You also have the advantage of seeing our educational IMAX films at a deep discount.
Okay.
You also get to bring friends and family into the museum at a deep discount as well.
Okay.
Discounts on food, discounts on gifts that you might want to buy in our store.
Do you also have exclusive events for the members?
We offer specialized programs and workshops just for our members. Okay. So it's hands-on activities that they get to do only as a member. Right now, we currently have a semi-annual party. So twice a year, we usually have one in the winter and one in the summer. We open up the museum at night just for our members.
Oh, at night?
Yes. So it's a little bit different. The museum closes during the day, and then we kind of run around and we get the museum ready to go. And we have special programs going on, special activities just for that night, entertainment. Usually we'll have special exhibits that are in the museum, and it's just for the parties for our members.
Okay, so party at the Tech.
That's right.
All right, sounds wonderful. And what message do you have for our audiences who may want to become members of the Tech?
Right now the Tech is part of a campaign, the Tech 3.0 movement, which is really kind of a facelift of our museum and kind of the museums as we know it. Really trying to turn our institution into a hands-on learning center where we can inspire people to really innovate and where they can come here and create new ideas and bring those ideas to life. And kind of with that mentality and that new campaign, we envision a new membership program that's growing. We look for feedback from our members and looking to get them involved in this kind of campaign as much as we can. So right now, with all of this momentum that we have, it's really a great time to become a member at the Tech.
So Joel, looks like there's a lot happening here for the members. So before we go, is there anything else that you would like to add?
Actually, there is. Just wanted to mention that the Tech is actually part of the ASTC, what we call Aztec. It's the Association of Science Technology Centers. So what that means is when you become a member of the Tech, you also have access to over 300 other organizations which are located in over a dozen countries.
Wow, that's huge.
And you have access to those organizations as well as a member of the Tech.
Sounds great. This is certainly a fun place for everyone, and membership allows you extra benefits.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I would like to give out the contact information to our viewers once again. For membership information, you may go to membership@thetech.org. Thank you, Joe, once again.
Thank you.
It's time now for Reflections with Jessie. And today, Jessie Kaur talks about the most valued emotion, happiness.
Welcome to Reflections with Jessie. Today we're going to talk about the most sought after human emotion, happiness. Psychologists and social scientists are trying to determine what makes us happy. In a poll conducted last year across a cross-section of people, only 1/3 of those living in the US said that they were happy. At best, we experience short spurts of happiness. An infant looks blissfully happy while watching a colorful baby Jim, but after a while she tires of it. A chocolate sundae provides ultimate happiness when we are young, but then we start worrying about the calories, the sugar content, the fat, etc., etc. It's pretty much the same with the more expensive sensory pleasures and the toys that we gather. The happiness-giving quotient rapidly declines after we've acquired or experienced them for a while. There are certain things that are basic essentials to happiness. Good health is very important. A certain level of personal income is necessary. Stability in primary relationships is also essential. But beyond the basics, happiness derived from external sources is short-lived. We often assume that people who have more money must be happier, but research has shown that more money is not equal to more happiness, and twice the amount of money does not translate into twice the happiness. Then what makes us happy? The answers may surprise you. Almost every study and research has indicated that people who give to others are happy people. People who volunteer on a regular basis have a sense of contentment, much more so than those who tend only to their own needs. Giving at a personal level also makes us happy. Random acts of kindness towards strangers is another source of lifting the spirit. In many traditions, donating 10% of one's income is stipulated. Interestingly, people who believe in a higher power tend to be happier even in trying circumstances. They consider everything, even trials and tribulations, a gift. They also tend to give more generously. In an inspiring documentary titled Happy, director Rocco Balick takes us on a journey across the world and finally reaches the slums of Kolkata to find out the secret of what makes us happy. Once again, it is revealed that giving to those who are less fortunate gives a new meaning and purpose to life. It may not be our calling to abandon everything and serve others like many are doing in the Institute for the Dying and the Destitute established by Mother Teresa, or go to Pinkalwara in Punjab to care for the lepers. But all of us can tap into our innate capacity to give. Bhagat Puran Singh, the founder of Pinkalwara, and Mother Teresa were exceptional individuals, but all of us can give. Find a cause that speaks to you and start giving to it. There are many organizations and local charities that provide opportunities to serve as well as enhance social connections with others who are also giving. Next time, when you want to indulge yourself, give to someone else and feel the inner joy, pleasure, and richness of giving. Do something kind on a regular basis. Offer to carry the shopping bag of an elderly person. Leave an extra generous tip. Deliver a home-cooked meal to an ailing neighbor or friend. Elizabeth Dunn, a researcher at the University of British Columbia in Vancouver, who studies what makes people happy, says, giving once might make a person happy for a day. But if it becomes a way of living, then it could make a lasting difference. Give in any measure possible. Nothing is too little. There are a bazillion ways to give, and each one is precious and becomes a source of happiness. Be happy and live in eternal optimism. Chardi Kala.
We leave you today with that beautiful message by Jesse Kaur. Thank you so much for joining us. For Chai with Manjula, I'm Manjula Gupta. I'll see you again after 2 weeks. Watch this show again at chaiwithmanjula.org or on YouTube.